What is up, Buffalo Bills fans, Tennessee Titans fans? It's the Z-Bot and Mr. Titan multi-stream Bills Titans Week 7 preview. You got all that, Alex? All that in one breath?
Does it make sense? Let's go. Let's do this, man. Oh, boy, this is going to be rough.
I love it. I'm Z-Bot of the Buffalo Fanatics. That's Mr. Titan of the Mr. Titan YouTube channel. And we're here today to break down the matchup between the Bills and the Titans this upcoming Sunday in Orchard Park. Your Tennessee Titans, not off to the greatest start. My Bills haven't been up to the tallest of tasks or haven't been playing their best football. I guess the best way to put it, the last 3 weeks. They'll be going head-to-head this upcoming weekend. Your Tennessee Titans looking to get back on track. How you feeling right now overall?
You know what? To be honest with you, I thought you guys had a bye week. I thought you guys legit had the bye week. You guys play the Titans. It's a bye week for the Bills. You guys don't have to worry. I promise you, you don't have to worry. Even though it's the NFL and any given Sunday, right? But unfortunately, the Titans are just not a very good team right now.
Listen, Alex, I've heard that before, and every time I've heard that, that seems to be when the Bills like to play down to the competition. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But like you mentioned, this is a game, of course, at least on paper, where the Bills are expected to win. Right now, the Bills are creeping up towards a 10-point favorite in this game. The line opened at 8.5. It's up to 9.5 right now. You said bye week. Your Titans came out of the bye week last week, interdivisional game against the Colts. They were in that game all the way until the end. They had their chances. They've had their chances all throughout the year, really, Alex. A couple of games where obviously it was a bit lopsided, the Packers game, but should have won that Jets game, in my opinion. Had your chances last week, had your chances against the Bears. In your opinion right now for the Titans, how much different would you feel about the team if just one of those games would have went in the other direction?
I'd still be a little bit worried. It's not only just that, they could be close in the matchup, right? But, looking at it on the field, the play calling, offensive line, Will Levis, again, a lot of people are questioning Will Levis, the play calling as well, being very, 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 very safe, right? We're only throwing 5 yards. We're throwing screens. A lot of people are upset with that. They're not, Calvin Ridley's upset that he's not getting the ball more. We have D-Hop, but what's the point of having D-Hop if you don't throw it to him? So there's a lot of questions, a lot of frustrations in the locker room with the players and the coaching staff. So I think it's still a building. I think they're still trying to build off of that. Again, everything is pretty much brand new. Offensive coordinator, new coach, new players. So they're trying to bring their philosophy in, and it's the growing pains, right? Unfortunately, It's the growing pains. And a lot of Titan fans aren't, we're tired of that. We're tired of that.
I'd be tired of it too. Right now, your Titans trail only the New England Patriots in terms of yards per game through the air, 135 yards a game.
Yeah.
That has to be frustrating from your end. Has to be.
You can't. I think the last game against the Colts, we had 95 yards throwing. Like, you can't.
Against that defense, too.
Exactly. The defense is rough, and you do that. So they're playing secure football and still losing the game. I feel like if you're going to lose the game, go balls to the wall. Try to do something. Let Will Levis be Will Levis. Again, a lot of people compare him as of right now, right, of Josh Allen. Like, they see Josh Allen in Will Levis. I don't know if that's true. Now, the way he plays, if they let him be Josh Allen, if they say, right, let Josh Allen do what he does best. Don't try to contain him. Let him. Then maybe we can see something with Will Levis. I unfortunately don't see it in Will Levis.
The interesting thing to me, I go back to last year. One of my favorite non-Bill game of the year last year was when the Titans made that insane comeback on the Dolphins that allowed the Bills to crawl back into the AFC East race and then inevitably win it in Week 18 against the Dolphins. That would not have occurred if the Titans hadn't pulled that comeback off. And I'm looking at moments like that and moments throughout the year for Will Levis last year. And there are those moments where I understand from your perspective and other Titans fans' perspective where they see those moments and they know what Will Levis is capable of, not to mention the athleticism. I feel like that's where the comparison to Josh Allen comes from. I feel like anytime a young quarterback comes into the league who's raw and has really off the chart type athleticism, Josh Allen's the immediate comparison, right? Yeah. Also, I guess the recklessness would be one of the things that you would attribute to Josh Allen early on in his career, which of course Will Levis is struggling with right now. What do you think has been the biggest downfall from last year to this year? Because it just feels like we haven't seen any of that positive that we saw strides of last year from Will Levis.
People are saying coaching wise, mechanic wise, again, you have Bill Callahan coming in, new head coach, offensive coordinator from the Bengals last year. And they're saying that, the way what he wants Will Levis to do compared to what Mike Rabel did last year. So people are questioning, like, was losing Mike Rabel, was that something that, was that a big question mark for the Tennessee Titans? Should we have let him go? As you saw, he kind of flourished. Yeah, they were still struggling, but you had Will Levis be Will Levis and do those games where you see him in the Dolphin game against the Falcons last year, his first career start in Nissan Stadium, threw 4 touchdowns. We haven't seen that. He's progressed. He went backwards. Now, I don't know if it's the coaching staff, coaching in general, who knows?
The interesting part about this game to me, and this is how I view it for the Titans in terms of, at least from my perspective, I'm looking at this game from a Bills fan, and I'm trying to ask myself, how did the Bills find a way to lose this game? It would be the Titans taking the ball out of Will Levis's hands, because the Bills defense right now, despite the injuries, they are playing well, but their Achilles heel is in the run department. The Jets went into their last game. Oh, I see the kiddos, by the way.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Hi. Ian, take him to the bathroom. Okay. Sorry.
They're fired up. You just picked them up from school. They're ready to rock.
Yeah, I got them. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries. Are the boys big Titans fans too? Are they football boys?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
No?
not. And
Really?
people are like, the oldest one, the 7-year-old, is starting to finally kind of get his feel into football. But I don't want to put that on him. I don't want to put this curse I have. I want him to, and we live in Dallas. I just don't want him to be a Cowboys fan. Other than that, he could pick whatever team he wants.
That right there, folks, is A+ parenting right there. Father of the year material. As long as he's not a Cowboys fan, you don't mind. That is the way it should be. That age is right around where I started to really evolve into a major football fan. I feel like at that age, you don't particularly identify with a team as much as you identify with players. I remember growing up, I just loved players. And back then you could get a football jersey for $20 and they had the different jerseys at a local store. And I had all these different players from all these different teams. And then as you got older, you morphed into, of course, what you were destined to be. And my dad to this day says the same thing. I wish I never put this curse on you. I will tell you, I know you feel that way, but your kids will look back and be blessed that even though it is a curse, it's a curse they get to share with you. I've been sharing that curse with my father for going on 30 years now, but let them enjoy the young days right now, Alex, where they don't have to struggle week in and week out.
Absolutely. Like I said, when I was younger, I would collect trading cards. I had a binder full of just a bunch of cards, and that's what I went off. Like I said, didn't have really a certain team that I followed. Kind of went with players as well, and just kind of went like that. But here we are now.
So as I was talking about this game in terms of how the Bills could find a way to blow it, because you're going into a game 9.5-point favorite. If you lose that game, that's a massive blown game for a team like the Bills. Anytime you're a favorite like that and you lose, it's not only a shocker, but it's a major derailment to your season to some degree. If the Bills want to continue to strive towards what they're striving for, it's games like this that you can't lose. And I'm looking at ways from my perspective of how could the Bills find a way to lose it and how do you prevent that? Looking at it from your end, if I look at it from the Titans angle, how do we win it? It would be taking the ball out of Will Levis's hands, not necessarily because of his, propensity to turn the ball over, and they haven't been having a good year through the air. But more so because the Bills' defense, their biggest struggle has been stopping the run. Going into Monday night, the Jets had one of the worst rushing offenses in the league. And what do you know? Breece Hall had the game of his season thus far, despite a losing effort. Everybody's been able to run on the Bills up until now. The Titans' rushing offense isn't all that bad. It's right around middle of the pack. It's the passing offense that's had them towards the bottom of the league in terms of overall offense. So, Tony Pollard, talk to me there. Going into this one, could you see him having a bigger role, a bigger impact, keeping Josh Allen off the field, and then having that maybe result in the Titans' best chance to win the football game?
They could. It just depends on how they use him. Okay. So Tajay Spears was our second running back. He's hurt. He's out, hamstring. So now you have more Tony Pollard in there. What?
I have to start to go through.
Okay, that's fine. You got Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard was running the ball excellent against the Colts, again, a bad Colts defense. Right. The problem is that once the Tennessee Titans lost the lead in the fourth quarter, they went to something where they weren't comfortable with, and that's throwing the ball and giving Will Levis it's his time to shine. When you weren't doing that the whole game we were running the ball, and it was decisive and good, clean plays. That's the only problem. If they can stay consistent with the run game and switch and do some play action, I could see some effectiveness, especially using the time against. Make sure Josh Allen does not get the ball. Make him stay in the sideline, have him control the clock, then yes. But that's the problem with the Tennessee Titans, is the play calling. And that's the thing where is my issue. They're good running the ball. And then once it goes to hell and they lose the lead, they try to play catch up, and you can't do that, especially with this Bills defense.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking you might say, and it's the point that's the counterpoint to, hey, let's just go in and try to run the ball here because the Bills' run D isn't great. Our run offense isn't terrible. It's probably the strong suit of our offensive side of things. It's the lead, right? If the Bills get out to an early lead, you can't just run the ball the rest of the game and hope you're going to be in it. That's when you got to unleash Will Levis. And then I feel like that probably then unleashes
the problem,
the dark side of Will Levis, right? Where he starts making plays that aren't necessarily plays you want him to make.
Exactly. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think the Titans know where they're at. You got to let him. You got to let him endure that. You got to let him experiment that, just to know what we have in the future. We don't want a Trevor Lawrence situation where we pay a lot of money and you're trash. A Dak Prescott situation where you pay him a lot of money and look how they're performing in the regular season. We want to know if this guy is a QB1 and if he is the future for the Tennessee Titans. But unfortunately, don't think he is.
It's been a struggle on offense for you, but talk to me about this defense, Alex. It's actually the best total defense in the league right now, allowing under 250 yards a game. Best passing defense in the league, too.
Yeah.
Does that make it even more frustrating for you, knowing how stout the defense is? It's just the offense cannot do anything to counter it and therefore win the football game?
It's been a struggle my whole life as a Tennessee Titans fan, because we never had it where it's a balance between, hey, you got a good offense, defense is good, and special teams. It's either, hey, defense is really good, offense can't do diddly squat, or vice versa. The offense is really good and the defense is terrible and just keeps giving up points. It's frustrating, definitely, because it could easily be a top 10. I mean, it's a top 10 defense as of right now. Denard Wilson has changed this defense completely. Now, the only problem is that our defensive coordinator, will he be our defensive coordinator next year? As a Titans fan, we all know the minute they do good, they shine, he's going to be a head coach somewhere else next year. And it sucks.
It's a good point. Yeah, Denard Wilson has this defense playing extraordinary right now. I just feel like nobody's talking about how good the Tennessee Titans defense is because they've won one game. That's the problem. They've been playing just as good a defense as anybody in the league. And these are the things I look at going into this one, because as a Bills fan, as any fan, I guess, no matter how much you're favored to win the game, no matter how confident you are, you always think of the one or two things that could tip the scale a bit and make things go awry. And this is the one thing to me here. This defense is about as good as it gets right now in the league through the first month and a half here. Do you think this defense has the ability to keep them in the game enough for the offense to find a way to pull it out in the end? Because I'm looking at it right now. The Titans are scoring roughly 19 a game, but only allowing 22 a game. So it's about a 3-point difference here that has you guys with only one win, but it's such a marginal difference. Is there something within those elements there that you think can eke out that 3-point difference and somehow swing it in the Titans' direction?
Unfortunately, no. I'm being honest. Unfortunately, no. And the reason being, Josh Allen is not only a hell of a quarterback with his, he could throw the ball, but he's very mobile. Okay, the Titans had a very, very difficult time. Regardless, I mean, yeah, they have been keeping their opponents not scoring much, but at the same time, we haven't gotten too much pressure on the quarterback at all. We've been hurt with mobile quarterbacks containing them, and Josh Allen just presents a really, really hard, tough matchup for the Tennessee Titans, regardless of how good the defense is playing. Plus the turnover rate as well. The defense has been good, but the interceptions, the fumbles just haven't gone the Tennessee Titans' way. I think their first turnover in defense was last game. It was just an interception, and that's it. So
you're pretty much defeated right now, because I'm guessing you're looking at this. You're already, the way I get it, the vibe I'm getting from you right now, this is an L. I'm assuming you think the Lions game the following week's an L. So
it's rough. It's rough.
Where do you want it? So let me ask you this, because the Bills, me growing up, the Bills were always very mediocre, but they were never like 1-7 bad. You know what I mean? Which is almost even more frustrating, because you never seemed to get the draft capital to get that revolutionary player that was going to change the franchise. That didn't end up happening until I was halfway through college. And that's throughout my duration of my entire life. They were always that 6-10, 7-9 team. Mm-hmm. Right now, you're looking at a Titans team that's staring 1-6 in the face, if not worse, unless something dramatically changes in the next 2 weeks here. So as you watch this unfold, it's a unique perspective to be in, and I know it sucks, but while you're within it, what do you want to see the most that you think over time here can eventually flip the script for Tennessee?
Growth, snaps, and just clear decisions on Will Levis. Like I said, this is Will Levis's year to see if he's the quarterback or not. Even the progress of him from game to game, just there's going to be times, especially if you're a gunslinger, especially if you're going to kind of play reckless, there's going to be times where he's going to throw interceptions. I understand that. But hopefully through time, he could read a defense. He can go through his motions and continue to at least get better each game. That's all I'm asking for. At least see this team, see the offensive line play a little bit better, get competitive, defensive as well. Just overall, just see this team, because on paper, the Titans don't look like a bad team. They're solid. It's a solid group. It's just their performance is what. So just improvement on that. And I'm not asking for a dramatic change, man. I'm not asking for just little by little, week by week, just give me a little bit of hope of saying, hey, you know what? Maybe in the draft, we get a couple people, free agency. Maybe next year I just want to be competitive. That's all.
So let me ask you this then. Let's say Will Levis incrementally improves throughout the year here, but it's nothing drastic. It winds up being, below middle of the pack, let's say, at best. That's what it winds up finishing. But he removes some of the turnover-worthy plays. He cleans up the interceptions, the recklessness a bit. So say we fast forward to April, these Titans are picking in the top 5. Do you want them to go quarterback, or do you want one more crack with Will Levis?
So with Will Levis, this is his second year. Mm-hmm. And then they have that rookie deal, right? Where they can technically, it's hard to say. I would have to see how much of an improvement and if it's substantial for what's in the draft. Because to be honest with you, I don't know if that's a good draft for a QB. I don't think so, right?
No, that's why I asked you, because upcoming here. No, last year was the year. This year, it's not terrible. Close to what last year was.
So unless they can pick some veteran from free agency, or I don't know. That's a tough decision, man. Like I said, I would have to really see improvement where I'm okay with him, But if he's just, mediocre, I don't know if we want to bite the bullet and keep him and pay him all that money and be like a Trevor Lawrence type deal where you think you have your guy, you pay him all this money, and now you win one game still. I don't want that at all.
Well, you're definitely not paying him, that's for sure. Going into year 3, there's no way he gets paid, no way he's earned getting paid. I was just curious to see, because I've talked to some other Titans fans as well. Titan Rossi, I do a show with him on Tuesdays on the Roundtable, the Roundtable Sports Network, and he seems to have pretty much had it with Will Levis. Are you there yet, or are you still kind of like, man, I'm willing to give this some more time here?
You know what? I'm very optimistic. I've been a person who's cheered for Marcus Mariota when I never liked Marcus Mariota. But again, it's only Will Levis' second year, to be honest with you. Some people take a little bit more time. A lot of people, I get it. A lot of people want a QB just to get in there and just have magic, right? But sometimes, the development does take a little bit, and he was hurt last year. So technically, on how you want to see it, I still give him some time, unless, like I said, unless he continues to perform the way he's been performing. It's 3 picks, 4 picks, just losing games, making irrational decisions, not perform wise, then yes. But for the time being, I pump the brakes just a tad bit, just because I understand the situation, I understand the process. So,
but it does seem like Brian Callahan is not his biggest fan. It seems like Brian Callahan might be more frustrated with Will Levis than any of the Titans fans combined. I've seen a couple of the press conferences early in the year where I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, man, is this guy's head coach, or is this his worst enemy? It seems like he's just blatantly calling out what everybody else is seeing. Yeah. I just sit there and I wonder if Brian Callahan, who of course wasn't in the room to draft Will Levis, I'm wondering if he's looking at this and saying, man, get me through the year and then it's time to move on. Maybe it's not in the draft. Maybe it's some vet move. Maybe, hey, Joe Flacco stays in the division because God knows he doesn't want to hang it up anytime soon. That man's still balling out. You saw him this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you never know. Like you said, though, Brian Callahan, that might not be his guy. And maybe he wants to bring someone in that he could mentor under him. Because maybe, like you said, Will Levis, as of right now, the play calling shows that he doesn't trust him at all.
Right.
Absolutely. So,
well, that seems inevitable. I feel like you can't have 134 yards per game and have any trust in your quarterback. Those two things do not go hand in hand. So I'm looking at these numbers, by the way, Alex. I'm interested to get your thoughts on this. Right now, I'm seeing the over-under on point total for the upcoming game on Sunday for the Titans is 14.5. The over-under for the Bills is 24.5. Do you think the Titans score more than 14? Do you think the Bills score more than 24?
That's because our happy medium right now for this year is 17. That's usually where we're at for the most part. They're playing in Buffalo. I would lean more towards Buffalo getting more than 24.
What do you think about Tennessee? Less or more?
I think that's spot on.
Right on the 14.
Yeah, maybe right on the 14, possibly 13. To be honest with you,
man, you're not kidding about that 17. They've scored 17 3 games this season, 14 in another. So they had their bye, so they've played 6 games, and 4 of the 6 they've scored. Yeah, they've scored 17, 17, 14. Well, they've only played 1, 2, 3, 4. They've only played 5 games. If I'm not, is that right? They played 5 games. They're 1-4. Okay, so they played 5 games and 4 of them 17 or less. Man, so what's it like watching this on a weekly basis then? Is it boring? Is it frustrating? Like, more than it is boring? Is it
a lot of whiskey? A lot of whiskey. It is frustrating because there's times where you've seen this team last year and what Will Levis, like we said before, what Will Levis can do.
Yeah.
And then just seeing this and you're just like, man, and then you see the potential with the defense. And you're like, man, this defense is good. You know, it's a good defense. This is what can get you in the playoffs. But I mean, if you don't have that balance, it's terrible. And I think, and I've said it before, I think it's the curse of Ryan Tannehill for us scoring 17 points. We just can't. We just can't get rid of him now. It's 17 is just like our unlucky number. So.
What's it like watching Derrick Henry ball out in Baltimore right now?
You know what, man? Let me tell you, I'm pretty close to Derrick's brother-in-law. He lives out here in Dallas, and I've gotten to know him a little bit more. So it's a little bit more personal just because I've talked to the family a lot, and it sucks, but I get it. The time between Derrick Henry and Tennessee Titans, man, they reached its peak, and I'm proud of it. I'm happy. I really am. I'm happy that he gets to at least a chance. I wish it was another team, man. Like I said, I can't stand the Ravens, but if him personally is succeeding, then it's good. But
he was always a pain in the Bills' ass with the Titans. He remains a pain in the ass for the Bills. You saw him, I'm sure, against the Bills with the Ravens a couple of weeks ago. First play from scrimmage, the guy's taking it 80 yards to the house. But man, have I always loved Derrick Henry. I've been saying for a while now, I think he's the last of his kind. I do not think we see another Derrick Henry because they're just not making him like that anymore. These guys built like him. First of all, no one wants to play running back anymore because it's a thankless position that doesn't get paid nearly what it probably should. But then again, the utilization of these guys within the draft, you're watching San Francisco right now use their 4th string running back and he'll go off for 100 yards. And then you watch it and you're like, well, that's why we're not paying him. But Derrick Henry just seems to be the outlier where you're getting everything you would want in a running back you would make within a lab or a creative player on Madden. So I was just curious because, you look throughout history here and man, Derrick Henry is going to go down as one of the all-time greats, not only at the position, but of course for the Titans. And I just know it's got to be super tough watching a guy like that, not only go and play well, but play well within the conference. And like you said, play for a contender, but I like your outlook on it because I feel like I would feel the same way. If Josh Allen, say things really went off the skids for Buffalo, and he wound up going to a contender. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I would feel about it. I want to think I'd be happy for him, Alex, but man, that would
maybe not at that position. That position's a little bit. Try another position, maybe a linebacker or even and then maybe there it might be a little bit different. Quarterback a little bit more sensitive.
That's such a great point because I'm thinking about it from the perspective of Tre'Davious White, who was one of Bills fans' favorite players, personality-wise, and when he was, in his prime of his career at an all-pro level, he was playing extraordinary football and just one of the more beloved guys in the locker room amongst the fan base. And everyone wanted him to succeed when he went to the Rams here, and it's just not gone well at all. He's been a healthy scratch this year. And I know for me, it's been sad watching that for him because of the injuries and the decline in his play because of it. So that's a good point you make. Quarterback,
it's different.
You can't weigh it on the same scale. You're right.
It's different. So that's the only thing where I'm like, I see that. Because that's like me with even with Tannehill. I'm like, oh, even if Tannehill lives and goes somewhere, I'll be like, oh, so maybe that's the only thing. Like I said, there's Kevin Byard, who was our safety. I mean, he's in Chicago now. And like I said, I hope he does good. And it's one of those things where I know they'll eventually come back and retire as a Titan. That's one of them. Kevin Byard, Derrick Henry. That's why I have a Derrick Henry cardboard, big lifestyle cardboard that I have, and that he'll sign eventually once he becomes a Titans and retires with us.
I love it. Before we round out here, Let's do a final score prediction from me. I know you think the Titans are winning this one, but
before the fight, you want to do a bet? Because you know what? If you remember, man.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, that.
You told me off air, though, no bets. I'll leave the ball on your court here. That's up to you, Alex.
Hey, the Bills Mafia loved it. You know what? I like making a fool out of myself, and you guys were awesome. I think a bet's a bet, man. I don't know what other crazy shit you guys do. You guys jump off the tables. What else? You guys do the mustard thing though, right?
I was just gonna say we do the mustard ketchup thing. Shout out Pinto Ron. I just ran into him in the parking lot at MetLife the other day. But man, I got a feeling you're walking into a buzzsaw there, Alex. So I got to leave that up to you, my man.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. You know what? Let's do it, man. What do I have to do? So what do you guys do? Explain where this tradition came from, and what do you guys just like douse each other and catch up? And
no, so it's Pinto Ron, who is an older gentleman who I'm pretty sure I think he's missed maybe 5 or 10 Bills games home and away the last 2 decades or more. The guy he lives all of our dreams. He goes to every single game home and away every week, but the home games, he's got an old Pinto car that they cook food on top of the grill of, and they have incredible tailgates. They make pizza in cabinets. It's a whole thing. It's really hard to describe without making it sound like I'm making it up, but I'm not. And every week at the tailgate, people are doing shots out of bowling balls, and it's nuts. And then they cap the tailgate off with somebody, sometimes an honorary member, like they'll have a member of whoever's doing the game that day. So say if they're doing like a ESPN game, maybe Jason Kelsey would do it, or somebody gets on top of the car and douses Pinto Ron in ketchup and mustard before every home game. And then he washes himself off and goes on into the game. So it's not a Bills Mafia wide thing, but it's Bills Mafia through and through because of how iconic Pinto Ron is. So with that said, that's kind of where it comes from. And I'll leave that one up to you. If you'd like to douse yourself in ketchup and mustard with the Titans being a 9.5-point dog in this game, you truly are a gambling man, my friend.
Let's do it, man. If the Titans win, you do it. If the Titans lose, I'll do it. I don't care. I'll personally send you the video so you can put it up there and put the score up or whatever. I'm game, man. It's okay. It's cool.
That's a bet. All right. So Titans win. I got to do the Pinto Ron ketchup and mustard bath. Bills win. You got to become a human hot dog for about 10 seconds, Alex. That sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan, brother.
All right. So with that said, are you predicting your own demise here? What's your score prediction?
Well, I give you the realistic one compared to the false one? I mean,
yes,
obviously,
give me both.
I think Bills win. It'll be probably 24-10. And then in the dream world, Titans win 21. We pass it 21-19. There you go.
That's how I see a Titans win if it were to occur. Some game like that where it's super close and something gross happens. Give me give me Bills 27, Titans 13. I just have a weird feeling this game's going to be ugly because the Titans defense is good enough to make it ugly. The Titans offense is bad enough to make it look ugly. And I just think the Bills pull away towards the end. But I think the Titans put up a good fight for a half. I just think the Bills right now, being in the spot that they're in compared to where Tennessee is, winds up pulling apart towards the end there a bit. But give me the Bills. I'm hoping the Bills. I was already hoping the Bills, of course, but now I'm hoping a little bit more, Alex, with this bet on the line. So
wait, hold on with the bet, because my friend just texted me and that it was a good idea. She said, "Hey, if the Titans win, you got to drink the coffee mayo, classic Will Levis style."
Oh, wow.
Shout out to Haley. That was a good one.
By the way, I'm so sick and tired of those commercials, and that's no hate on Will Levis. Just the way he says mayo dip be creamy or something. I hate it. It's on all the time because I just leave NFL Network on in the background while I'm working. And it's on like once a commercial cycle. So what is this concoction? Is it just coffee and mayonnaise mixed together? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He says he doesn't do it quite often, but he kind of ran with it. So he just gets coffee, douses it in mayo, and then shoves it.
Mayo's weird in the sense that I like it on all my sandwiches, all my burgers, but the idea of eating it solo makes me sick. The idea of drinking it with coffee makes me want to go to the hospital.
Well,
but I'll do it, man.
Same thing with ketchup and mustard, okay? Just letting you know. I like it in my sandwiches and stuff too. I don't want it on me, but we're going to do this.
I like this stuff because we're taking a Titans twang on the bet. We're taking a Bills twang on the bet. Lock it in, Alex. I will do that. My God, I've never wanted the Bills to win a game more than I want them to win now. So Bills win. Alex is taking a ketchup and mustard bath. Titans win, and I'm having a coffee and mayonnaise cappuccino. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Buffalo, my God, please get it done. Please get it done. And that will be posted at some point next week, Alex. That sound like a plan?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. I love it.
All
Bills, right. Titans on Sunday, and either a mayonnaise and coffee latte or a mustard and ketchup bath at some point next week, depending on the outcome. I love it. Alex, love being able to sit down with you again. It's been a couple of years since these boys have faced off and we got together. I'm glad we got to do it again. Best of luck to your Titans, and I'm looking forward to seeing which one of these bets winds up going online this upcoming week.
Absolutely, brother.
All right.
Thank you for having me on, man.
Once again, best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Tighten up, guys.
All right. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Much love as always. We'll see you on the next one.